For our lucky 7, we look at Perfect Blue. Immediately we have another Satoshi Kon creation. Perfect Blue's a movie about Mima Kirigoi, a member of an idol group who pursues a solo career. The decision to go into acting is tough enough already, but add in compromising photo shoots, a stalker, and a series of murders to the mix, and then you have yourself a benchmark psychological thriller. The line between fantasy and reality gets blurred, and you start seeing the signature Satoshi Kon mindfuck that's made him a renowned personality in the industry. The movie features lots of blood, violence, and other scenes that you wouldn't want to watch with kids. This is filled with gruesome scenes, and it isn't a movie for the faint-hearted. But if you're one of the people looking through this list in order to find anime that would satisfy your thirst for horror, then you've hit the jackpot with this one. Sixth on our list is Mononoke. Not to be confused with the popular movie that shares its name, Mononoke the TV series is a spin-off of a horror anthology. It follows the medicine seller who travels to Japan in search of evil spirits called Mononoke. However, he can't just slay the spirit despite being a master of the occult. Before he can slay one, he has to first discover the spirit's form, origin, and motive. First thing you might notice about the series is its art style. It's certainly not the typical style that you'd expect from anime, and this series utilizes it excellently. The anime is filled with vibrant colors and an overall ambiance that resembles something that you'd expect from ancient Japanese artwork. It also allows the animation team to showcase their talent in depicting supernatural creatures and all sorts of horrors. Overall, Mononoke is an interesting watch that might not be everyone's cup of tea, but trust me when I say that it is definitely worth a shot. Entering at number 5 is From the New World. Shinsekai Yori, From the New World in English, is a story of a futuristic utopia, except it doesn't even look sci-fi at all. Apparently, modern society as we know it hasn't been replaced by steampunk buildings and high-tech gadgets. You heard that right, our protagonist Saki Watanabe lives in an isolated village in a world ruled by psychic powers. After obtaining her powers, the next step is to enter an academy with the aim of owning her skills. However, the question soon surfaces. What about the children who don't awaken their powers? Also, what about the cat that abducts children? Looks like the world is a lot darker than we thought it would be at first glance. This show got me at first. I thought it was just a run-of-the-mill seasonal show around half a decade ago and that it wouldn't be full of scary moments. But here we are with a show that's unafraid to kill off key characters, show off some unsettling imagery, reveal scary monsters, and attack us with nightmare-inducing sequences. Plot twist after plot twist, brilliant imagery, and morally thought-inducing plot lines make From the New World a must-watch among the 2012 shows. Did you know that 4 is the number of death in Japan? How fitting that our 4th entry is Higurashi When They Cry. If you've been watching anime for some time, you'd know better by now than to get fooled by first impressions. When They Cry starts off as what you'd expect from one of those harem visual novels. Keiichi moves to a province where he meets several girls and starts befriending them. All's well and everyone's happy in this rural setting. But of course, something soon goes wrong, doesn't it? Every 4 years, a murder happens in the village. As the mystery starts to unfold, it turns out that the key suspects are a lot closer to our protagonist than you'd expect. I've been saying this for the past few titles, but this one is definitely not for the faint-hearted. It's a murder mystery series, and it's not afraid to get down and dirty when it comes to depictions of such heinous acts. I dare say that When They Cry would give stuff like Evangelion a run for its money as far as insane, mind-wrecking scenes and overall creepiness goes. The first in the top 3 is probably something you'd expect. For me, it's by far the most action-packed and thrilling among the entries. It's Parasite. We can't have a top 3 list without the king of body horror. One night, spores fall to Earth, carrying with them alien organisms called parasites. Infected humans get taken over, gaining the ability to transform their bodies with an appetite for fellow humans. However, one parasite was unsuccessful in taking over its intended host, high school student Shinichi Izumi. Stuck on his right arm, Miggy's forced to form an uneasy alliance with its host as the duo fight to survive a world where danger lurks in every corner. It's got action-filled fights, exciting chase scenes, and a varied arsenal of body horror. Shinichi and Miggy's combination fights feature a lot of creative uses of the parasite arm. If you're in for body horror and thrilling fights, this is an anime you shouldn't miss. For our runner-up, we have a fairly recent anime, The Promised Neverland. Now, at first glance, life at Gracefield House may seem all sunshine and butterflies. It's an orphanage where children live happily with their mom, Isabella. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. Now, without spoiling too much, something really messed up is going on in this orphanage. Finding the truth about the orphanage, a trio of kids, Emma, Norman, and Ray, work together to get orphans to escape the grisly fate that awaits them. The premise seems dark enough, but I'd personally classify this series as a thriller than a horror show. Nevertheless, it has a lot of gripping scenes that keep you on guard. When I watched it, I was amazed by its masterful use of visuals and sound to create an ominous atmosphere. You almost expect something to pop out, only for it then to be nothing, and then all of a sudden a camera shift would happen which would quickly catch you off guard with a jump scare. This anime is sure to leave you at the edge of your seats. Standing atop yet another list is an anime that's been refeatured. Making its return from the top 10 mystery thriller list, we cap off with Monster. Now, with a title like that, did you expect to see this show make a return? If you're still not familiar with how the plot goes, here's the rundown. The story stars Dr. Kenzo Tenma, a surgeon who decides against protocol to operate on a dying boy, Johann Liebert. Now, the two reunite years later, but not as doctor and patient, as doctor and murderer. With the guilt of helping create this monster, Tenma goes after the boy he once saved. Now, to be honest, Monster isn't as scary as the other titles on the list as far as the traditional definition of horror goes. I mean, no jump scares, demons dismembering human corpses, or violent deaths or exploding heads or anything like that. However, it attacks way deeper than visual horror. It strikes fear in our hearts by simply illustrating how horrible a human being can be. Like the show's protagonist, we've perhaps had that lingering feeling of being responsible for some of the most degenerate horrors imaginable to man. Have we, somewhere along the line, helped create an uncontainable evil that lurks a lot closer to home than we imagined? It's a question that begs pondering from some of us. Well, that's a wrap. Have you had your share of anime horror yet? Don't be afraid to drop some recommendations and I'll gladly check some of them out. If you have requests for future top 10 lists or suggestions for slightly different content, feel free to voice out through the comments section below. We also appreciate any feedback you have. If you enjoyed the video, like, share,